Warning: the following audio reading touches upon the themes of killer clowns, molestation, and Pop-Tarts. That being said, if you or anyone around you are offended by said themes, sit back and enjoy the story anyway. DJ Swoon Reads, Ronald McDonald, would you like fries with that? Welcome to McDonald's, may I take your order? The cashier nicely asked the man sitting in the white van. The man, dressed in clown attire, contemplates his order while, nestled in the back of his car, lies a very unlikely subject. In the back of this really creepy individual's van sits a tied-up little boy. As the man orders his food, he pulls up to the second window with a shocking surprise of two policemen dressed in McDonald's attire, guns in hand, waiting to formally arrest the sick man. Mr. McDonald, you're being charged for kidnapping and for molestation. Do you have any other words to add? The judge exclaims to the crowd of people as the widely televised event is viewed from around the globe. Yes, I would just like to say, it was delicious. The man snarls. Excuse me, the judge replies to the man in the puzzled crowd. The food from McDonald's was delicious, and so was the boy, the man said as he smirks deviously. Well, alright. If that's all you need to say, I sentence you to 12 years in prison. And after that, 2 years probation and community service. And might I add, that during your incoherent response, not only was your answer moronic, but in saying what you said, everyone in this room has now become less intelligent. And you've spread your sick humor to a new generation of morons. I will award you no bail, and may God have mercy on your soul, the judge says. Alright, I accept that sentence now. If you'd excuse me, I must be going, the man says as he attempts to bolt out of the room in a fit of anger. He's surprisingly too quick for the policeman, and he escapes. 13 years later, the fuss about the news dies down, but the damage to the town is done. Residents have been reported to outlaw McDonald's restaurants in over 23 states, and once a year, in Alabama, they hold annual Ronald McDonald memorabilia burnings, where children of all ages burn all sorts of memorabilia from the franchise. The town is still hostile years after the accident. Here is their story. Hello everyone, I'm Johnny McDonald, and I'm here to explain to you children about my father Ronald. First off, I would like to kick off today's ceremonies by speaking very briefly of my father. My father was a mogul in the food industry when he created the McDonald's franchise in 1955. He was the first one to dress up as a deranged clown with a gimpy leg to advertise food. And business was booming throughout the swinging 60s, the rocking 70s, up until about 10 years or so, when my father was falsely accused of kidnapping a child at a nearby McDonald's restaurant. And I know you've all heard the story, he exclaims as the crowd gets unsteady. Now look, I know that you think he's some pedophile weirdo who smuggles kids to make burgers out of, but hear me out. That little boy in the car was me. The crowd gasps as he speaks. So after all the court settling, I've gotten Ronald out of jail and he's here today. The lights dim as a shadowy clown figure walks out onto the stage. Why hello everyone! If you don't already know, I'm the former owner of the McDonald's franchise, and I want to let you know how sorry I am for the shots! He says as he pulls a pistol out of his pocket and blindly starts beating his son senseless. All of a sudden the lights go out and the auditorium is pitch black, with a spotlight on McDonald. Now what I meant to say was that I, Sir Ronald G. McDonald Jr. the 8th, declare that I am at this point in time going on strike. Now you may be saying to yourselves, come on McDonald, you old fat senile hobo, don't kid yourself. You're way past your prime. There are many people who have been there and done that already. Well then I say nay! I will be heard and I will rule the world! He says as he sets off 34 landmines and screams time for ice cream as he jump ropes and listens to show tunes. With people and objects exploding and flying all over the place in an amalgam of baby birth and child abuse, Ronald gets away clean in the mayhem overall. Ronald's getaway was very difficult because of his gimpy leg. It stems from his childhood when he fell off a 34-story laundromat and his leg was crumbled beneath the Toyota that parked where his limp body lies. He ran from city to city, trying to find the Burger King so he could fulfill his master plan of ruling the world. He ran from sunrise to sunset, eventually shedding his trademark makeup, afraid his identity would become too known. The sun slowly sets on the horizon as he reaches the woods. Oh no, he says to himself. It's getting dark, and I'm in the freaking woods! He starts to pick up on his running speed. He runs all through the night, stopping for brief water breaks. When he finally reaches his destination, he puts his makeup back on, due to the identity scanner mechanism that recognizes his face solely. Passcode? The machine prompts the McDonald. Whopper, he replies as the double doors slide open to reveal a very dark room. Wow, the burglar! He shouts in amazement. McDonald. "What are you doing here?" a voice proclaims from the dark. "I thought I banned you from my lair," the voice snaps. Out of the darkness appears a man dressed in a king's robe, with a staff and a crown on his head. "Ha-ha! Burger King! I never thought I'd see you again," says Ronald as he goes toe-to-toe with the man behind the Whopper. "Get out! Get out before I shank you and murder your family," the king threatens. "Hey, back off! I have a favor to ask you. I need your help." The room silences of the lambs. "My help? You've never needed my help, Mr. Food Chain of the year 1967. Ever since I was a boy, I idolized you. I wish my food chain could match yours just by half. But I lost all hope when I found out that you molested that child in the back of your white van. So I don't need you here right now, McDonald. As a matter of fact, I never did. So just go home and play with little boys or put some lotion in the basket, whatever you creepy van owners do," King exclaims. "Look, hear me out. I'm trying to rule the world, so I'm gathering the world's most evil fast food mascots in the world together," Ronald explains to the king. The lights all slowly turn back on, and music starts to play in the background. The king starts to laugh. "You want mascots? You got it," he says, as he walks away to the phone and starts talking very low. Ronald slowly started creeping up on the king and tried to listen in on this conversation. But Ronald's hearing aid had been damaged by fry oil in 1834 when Ben Franklin threw an electrically charged key at his face. As the king was talking on the phone to his sister Vera about his famous noodle recipe, Ronald starts plotting and walks up casually and shoots the king with his pistol. The king turns around and in one slow movement falls to the ground. "Who's getting shot now, Burger King?" As the sun rises the next morning, the news sweeps around the world about the king's killing in his home in Utah. A memorial service was held in Madison Square Garden 3 weeks later. His family, friends, and food mascots alike got together to mourn the loss of the king. "We gather here today to mourn the life and the legacy of the Burger King, or as his friends and colleagues knew him, Tom Cruise," the pastor of the church announces to a weary crowd. "Now this time I would like to bring up one of his best friends, Stevie Wonder." Stevie Wonder walks through the dimly lit stage, guided by his seeing eye dolphin, which makes noises to point Stevie to the stage. He walks up to the microphone and starts to tear up. "Hello, I'm here today because a great friend, a fellow food eater, and a family man were killed outside of his home 3 weeks ago. Not only was a fast food creator murdered, but one of my best friends was murdered. I wish I could just see him and tell him that I love him one more time. He'll be missed in this world, and I wish he was here today. Thank you very much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to mourn the loss of the king, rejoice and listen to the music of our Savior, Jesus." The crowd claps as music plays over the church loudspeakers. In the back of the church sits General Sanders, the creator of the well-known and loved KFC chicken. His phone rings, and by his surprise, it's the president on the phone. "Hello, General? We need you down here now." The general gets up and leaves the church to drive to the White House. When he gets there, he's guided to the Oval Office where the president resides, eating Pop-Tarts. "The Brown Sugar Con, heck yeah!" Now look, gentlemen, as you all know, Ronald McDonald is on the loose. We must make every effort to apprehend and get this clown under control, the president announces as General Sanders sits down. "Do you think I don't know, Obama? Of course I do. But we have to handle this in the right manner. It takes time to complete such a task. But there's one thing I do know. We must kill the clown," says the general as he lies back in his chair. But the question is, how do you kill something that makes a joke out of everything, jump ropes to show tunes, and owns a white van? Hours go by, as the duo plan to find and execute the clown. Their eyes are very dark and weary due to endless hours in the White House. Over 100 calls have been simultaneously made around the world on this issue. All is going well when the doors to the Oval Office burst open, and from the dusty red hallway, 2 FBI agents stride into the room. "Mr. President, turn on the news. I think there's something that you might want to see," the agent declares, as the president turns on his television, only to see a news anchor and Ronald's face on the screen. "In later news, according to mutual sources, Ronald McDonald was killed last night outside of his famous restaurant in Oregon at 10 p.m. Speculation has confirmed that the killer or killers are none other than the POFFM, or the pack of fast food mascots. They consist of Taco Bell, Wendy's, Charlie Sheen, and General Sanders. The group of mass heavily armed mascots mean business. An autopsy has yet to be performed on the clown, but it's been rumored that he died of unnatural causes due to 234 stab wounds found in his liver and pelvis. And remember, if you see any man dressed up as a fast food mascot, please don't hesitate to beat the living crap out of them," the anchorman announces. Everyone in the room is dumbfounded. "Well, that tears in. I'll be right back, gentlemen, because I have to go puke shards of my own pelvis out really quickly, the President says as he quickly shovels out of the room in a hurry. The General picks up his iPhone and dials a number. A man with a very deep voice answers. Hello, General. It seems as though your plans to kill the President have failed you once again. Oh, is it so, Mr. Guy with a deep voice? I don't think so. Watch this, the General says as he spontaneously combusts on the floor and lights the White House on fire. As the White House burns, he stands outside in the flaming heap and smiles. Boy, do I wish you were here, King. You'll be dearly missed, and I've done what you've wanted me to do all along, which is rule the world. And I will do the one thing I've set out to do, he says, as from behind a lingering shadow lies in the deep. A voice whose tone strikes different memories. Mr. Sanders, I'm not dead after all. I'll be with you always. When you cook fried chicken in the good old fryers that have burnt so many innocent employees, that's me, burning in the fires below the earth. When you serve cold soda to the patrons at KFC, that's me, laying in the skies above, slowly roasting chicken nuggets as my stomach grumbles from the lack of sleep at my work because the pay isn't good enough to feed my 127.5 children, as they slowly one by one slip into comas and die of Oreo cookie-related deaths. Just call my name, and I'll be there. I'll be right by your side when you have troubles in your life, the voice says, as the spirit of the Burger King fades away to lifeless orbs that sparkle in the midnight air. The sun that once made the earth a bright, vibrant wonderland now dies down into the deep waters of the sea, creating a beautiful starry night in the distance. Well, he's gone now. He can finally leave the earth in peace, and I can finally rest any plans for ruling this earth, because in fact he who cooks burgers rules it all in the end. He takes the throne in a better place where there's no one to halt his legacy, his dream. His ambition to make a trend that is bigger than himself, to set the standard for fast food and for popular mascots in his day and age, the General says to himself, as he looks at the night sky, a beautiful reminiscent vision of a man who once ruled the burger industry. All is silent, when a rustle can be heard from the bushes behind the rubble. From the ashes of the White House appears a shadowy figure shaped like a clown. Would you like stab wounds or a gunshot? The voice says. Excuse me? Who's there? The General replies. What, you don't know who I am? After all, I only owned McDonald's for 75 years, says the voice as he laughs maniacally. Ronald, is that you? I thought you died when the Taco Bell skinned you alive. The General snarls back at the clown. No, I'm not Ronald McDonald. I'm Batman, says the shadowy mass of a person. Wait, what? Batman? You have nothing to do with this. Why are you here? The General says. Oh, the other just ran out of ideas and threw me in here for a twisted ending to the story, Batman replies. The end. Just kidding! Seriously, Batman, why are you here? There's no reason for you to be here in a story about fast food. The General finally snaps at him. Well, it may seem because of these news and press Ronald McDonald is dead, but what you don't know is he's standing right in front of you, Batman says as he takes his mask off, and the General's face suddenly transitions from anger into a shock seizure motion that resembles a dying walrus and a skinned cat combined. Ronald! I thought you were dead! He exclaims as Ronald walks over to him. He then injects Sanders with a tranquilizer. The General slowly fades into a euphoric state. The earth and people around him start to swirl, and nothing's real anymore. Hello, is there anyone there? Says McDonald, with no reply from the General. Just nod if you can hear me! The General nods very limply as the world completely fades to black. Is there anyone home? Ronald says to the General as he wakes up to a beautiful sunshine. There is no pain, you are receding, General. Do you see the distant ship smoke on the horizon? That's the police, they're coming for me. But it seems as though we're at a crossroad, because if I go, you go with me! The General comes to his senses and loses it. He starts doing backflips down a hill, gets a concussion on a nearby rock, and falls into the ocean in a fit of joy. As his body slams against the pier, his lifeless body plunges into the bottom of the ocean, where he is slowly devoured by 22 sharks, all hungry for KFC chicken. Wow, I just wanted to say that I was sorry for him, but obviously he did not want to talk to me. Oh well, Ronald McDonald says with sorrow in his voice as the sharks throw his corpse back onto the hill. What's up, Swooners? DJ Swoon here, and I just finished reading the Ronald McDonald story, and it was freaking epic. So I'm going to include a blooper section after I finish talking. You know, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my incoherent rambling. Like, favorite, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Have an awesome day, Swooners. Thank you, and good night. Peace. Laying in the skies above, slowly roasting chicken nuggets as my stomach grumbles from the lack of sleep in my work because the pay isn't good enough to feed my 127.5 children as they slowly... Well, that tears it. I'll be right back, gentlemen, because I have to go puke... Well, that tears it. I'll be right back, gentlemen, because I have to go puke shards of my own pelvis. I'm not gonna get it out. Well, that tears it. I'll be right back. Well, that... Oh, God.